Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Force here with some more Friday Night Magic. I know, it's Monday. I was away, though. I have a reason. I was away at ParadoxCon, so it really sucked. I actually had a plan to record an episode of Friday Night Magic while down in Florida, but the internet was god-awful at the place that we stayed at, so alas, just didn't end up working out. This hand isn't the greatest opening hand for this deck, but I will keep it. I am going first, so not having my turn 1 drops isn't that big of a deal. Not the strongest turn 2 drop in the world with this Vine Lasher. However, whatever. We'll throw him in play, see what happens. We'll at least make him a 2/2 for the following turn, thanks to our next 4. So, what is this deck? Well, this is a very, very interesting mono-green deck that focuses on getting creature tokens in play, putting 1/1 counters on your tokens, and doubling those all with this card right here, Doubling Season. We're running 3 of them in the deck. That's the max you could have. Would potentially run a 4th if it was a possibility, but yeah, we've got 3 of these, and it's very simple. Whenever a token comes into play under your control, or whenever a counter is put on a creature you control, you double the amount. So yeah, lots of tokens coming into play, lots of counters happening through all sorts of different means, and then all sorts of things doubling off of that. It's kind of crazy. I'm thinking about actually just throwing the Druid's Call. Nah, we don't necessarily need it this early, and it would be better to synergize later in the game with Doubling Season. So we'll just attack him right now with our Vine Lasher Kudzu. That's now a 2/2. So for example, Vine Lasher, whenever a land comes into play under my control, I get a 1/1 counter. Now, as we mentioned, what was he doing? Ancestral? Oh, okay, Ancestral Knowledge. Is that what that was? Accumulate Knowledge. Okay, I see. So with Doubling Season in play, whenever land comes into play under my control, he gets 2 1/1 counters. Same thing with the Fangren Firstborn. It's a 4/2. When it attacks, other attack creatures get a 1/1 counter. They get 2 of those. You can continue the process. The Druid's Call. Whenever enchanted creature is dealt damage, its controller puts that many 1/1 squirrel tokens into play. So then we double that, and yeah, there you go. All right, so we get another land. He gets pumped up. Enters the battlefield. He has to sacrifice a creature unless he discards a card. Okay, got it. And now we've got a choice here. We can put the Firstborn in play, or we can attack and try to bait him, and then kill that thing off with that thing. That could be pretty good, right? Let's attack and see what he does. We're gonna attack and see what he does. If he chooses not to block, then we're just gonna, at the end of our turn, put the Fangren in play. Let's see what he does here. He chooses to block. Very interesting. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and put the Earth Brawn on him, giving him +3/+3 until end of turn. So Earth Brawn, you can do +3/+3 until end of turn, which for like a situation like what you just saw. Or what you can do is you can reinforce, which gives reinforce 1, which gives him a 1/1 counter permanently. And again, with Doubling Season, 2 1/1 counters permanently. Something else we could have done there is before the hidden horror stuff happened, we could have thrown the Druid's Call on him. But again, I'm trying to save the Druid's Call until after Doubling Season is in play, for obvious reasons. All right, so draws 3 cards and discards a card. He ends up discarding this guy. And now this turn, we get a land, popping the guy up to a 4/4. But the big thing for this turn is that here comes Doubling Season. So now doubling counters in future turns. That means next turn we throw a force down. Instead of a 4/4, this guy becomes a 6/6. And then at that point, I think it might be a good time to throw Druid's Call on one of my creatures. All right, so we hit for 4. He is now down to 14. Now you could have argued put the Fangren in play last turn and then do the Doubling Season. I just wasn't really sure if he plays a creature right now. All right, so he's gonna body double. He's gonna choose a creature from the graveyard. He's gonna pull back his 6/6. I'm guessing. Yep. 6/6 flying. You may pay 6 life and sacrifice 3 creatures rather than paying its mana cost. But I'm sorry, not 6/6. It's a 9/9 flying trample. So that's rather problematic for us, as you would imagine. Now he's a 6/6. Trying to think about how I should play this, to be honest with you. We're gonna put the Fangren in play. And I'm actually, let's put the Druid's Call on this guy. So what's gonna happen is if he chooses to block, we are going to get 18 creatures in play. Because he does 9 damage, which would give us 9 tokens, and then those would then be doubled. So this is a very interesting decision for him. This is a very interesting decision. Now, if he has got mass area, if he's got mass damage, like damage across the board, then he's going to be able to quite easily destroy all of my 1/1s. But if he doesn't, then again, we would have had 18 1/1s in play, which get pumped up even further next turn when this guy attacks. So he chooses not to block. He's got a 9/9. He only needs to swing. He doesn't need to swing for 3 turns, or swing for 2 turns and then do 2 damage through other means, which is probably pretty likely. It's pretty likely with his deck that he'll have another method of doing 2 damage. All right, draw 2 cards, then shuffle a card from your hand into your library. So he's digging for something. Obviously, we don't know what. He's got a few card draws this game. See Beyond, Sift, Accumulated Knowledge. With all of that, I'm pretty sure that he probably has the things that he's looking for. Question is, what is that? He's got 6 cards in hand. If he attacks, we've got Fatal for next turn. Here's the Hidden Horror. He'll be discarding a card. This gives him a blocker. So his deck has got a lot of graveyard fetch. Right, he attacks with 9. Attacks for 9. So. Gosh, oh gosh. This is a very interesting position. All right, this is very good, actually. All right, so we're just going for it here. That guy's got haste, and he's gonna get a 1/1 counter as well. So. 1/1 counters. And he, unless he can actually, yeah, he's dead unless he can kill off one of my creatures. Looks like he can't. So that is the game. Wow, very interesting first game. Got to show you doubling season in effect, which makes me very happy. Let's move on to game number 2. Our second match today is against Henry. Good old Henry. Sounds like a nice chap. No way of judging that at this point. Opening hand, very early aggro. Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure, let's go ahead and keep it. We've got 2 of our Young Wolves, our Undying creatures. We've got the Vine Lasher. We also have this guy, 2/4 with Reach. When he dies, comes back as a 2/4. And there's the doubling season, so whoop-de-doo. Oh, man. That makes me very happy. One thing that's kind of rough with this deck, there's 0 mana acceleration whatsoever. Nothing to search for lands, nothing to filter through for lands. So this just basically means we have to wait to draw 3 more lands. There's no other way to speed up that process. The good news, though, is that we are fairly non-land heavy, which means we should be drawing a few lands. And there we go, we just drew a land. How about before we play anything, we'll just attack, see what happens. So here's our 1/1 Undying. Beautiful Young Wolf. Really hoping to get that doubling season in play before they die, because, again, they come back with those extra counters if that works out. Throw down our Vine Lasher, then next turn we play land, pump him up, hit for 3, and then we can also play our next Young Wolf. Playing against another mono green deck, not sure which one yet though. There's actually quite a few in Duels 2014. It's kind of crazy. There's like a lot of mono green decks. Wow, really pumping out these lands. This is actually pretty exciting. Just 1 more and we're gonna be able to do doubling season. All right, attack first. Hit for 3. Kind of best to save Earthbrawn for when you've got doubling season in play. That way you can do the permanent attachment of 1 token, which becomes 2 1/1 tokens. Second main phase, we'll throw down another Young Wolf, and then that's the end of our turn. Pass it over to our opponent, who so far has done nothing but play lands. I wonder if he's playing the Eldrazi deck. Although if he was, I would assume he would have thrown some ramp in play so far. Okay, no. There's Oracle Moldiah. Lets him get another land in play. Uh-oh, here comes that ramp. Oh boy. Oh boy. Might end up Earthbrawning one of these guys, attacking just to get rid of his Moldaya. There's another land, pumping up our Vine Lasher. And I'm gonna attack with everything right now. And if he chooses to block one of my wolves, then I pump it up with Earthbrawn. His Oracle dies, and I am happy. Okay. Pump it up. His Oracle dies. My guy is still alive. Not triggering Undying. And 4 goes through, and he is now down to 8. So yeah, he's playing the ramp deck. I'm really surprised though he didn't see, he didn't get anything before Oracle, because there's a few, I think 2 and 3 mana boosters. There's another Oracle. He drew into, wow, look at that, good lord. So yeah, very soon he'll be able to throw down some crazy stuff, but will he have the time? That's the question. I need another land to get my doubling season through. Let's see if we draw into it. If not, we can also just throw down the Penumbra Spider, which wouldn't be terrible. Yeah, looks like it will be the Penumbra Spider. Before that, though, we are attacking with everything. We've got the advantage, so we're gonna keep pushing it. Here's a Tangle. For all combat damage, it would be dealt this turn. Each attacking creature doesn't untap during its controller's next untap step. Oh, that's unfortunate. So these guys are gonna stay tapped and not untap during my next untap step. All of the damage is prevented. There you go. Boy, boy, boy. Penumbra Spider coming in play. While he could clear the board with an All Is Dust, I get a lot of it back because we've got basically 3 Undying, 2 Undying, and then this guy who comes back too. It's Avenger of Zendikar. It's battlefield 01 for each one of the lands that he has, and then whenever he puts a land in play, they get pumped up. So that all of a sudden is terrifying, and I think he now wins this game. I think the chances of me winning at this point are gonna be fairly slim. He's at 12, but I don't have Trample in this deck. I mean, we do have this guy, which is really nice, but would help a ton. But we need lands, which we don't have, and yeah. Yep. It's not looking good. I don't think we can do that. I don't think we can do it. I don't think we can win because he will be having more and more ways to dump lands. He's got the Oracle, which lets him play 2 lands a turn. These things are going to get huge very, very quickly. Here's an Explore. Draws a card, can play an additional land. So he's going to get at least 1 more land in here. There's a second land. Look at how big these things get. And I'm going to have no way to bypass that stuff. Look at that. They're all 3/4s now. All right. That's fantastic. So if I were him, I would just attack with all the... He can attack with all the 3/4s and the 5/5. Maybe he's concerned about me pumping this 2/4 up, but it's a Summoning Trap. He gets to look at the top 7 cards of his library. It takes a creature card, put it in the battlefield. Let's see what creature he gets. He gets a 7/7 Palaka Worm, comes into play. He gains 7 life. When it dies, he draws a card. There's another land, turning all his guys into 4/5s. And that's the game. He wins this turn. What is he doing? Thank you. Okay, attack with everything. There you go. Okay, there you go. You got 7 4/5s. I only have 1 creature to block. Wow, all right, well, that's a sad state of affairs, but game number 2 is a loss. Let's go ahead and move on to a third and final match. And our final game for today is against Ralph Seymour, what is his name? Ralph Seymour Jackson, that's nice. What the hell is this? Look at this hand, not a single land. All right, I'll draw a new one. Opponent gets to play first. The quest is okay. All right, I guess we'll go ahead and keep it. You know, this deck really does sort of hinge on the ability to get your doubling season in play. I mean, it's great when it happens, but man, oh man, the deck just, without doubling season in play, the deck is just kind of mediocre. We'll see what happens, though. Here is our Young Wolf, 1/1 Undying. We also have the Vine Lasher. We got our Hornet Queen, which is really nice when you can play it, but 6 is pretty steep, so there's no counting on it. Quest for the Gem Blades. Pretty cool. When a creature I control deals combat damage to a creature, I get to put a quest counter on it. I can then remove that quest counter, sacrifice this, and put 4 1/1 counters on target creature. That is permanently, too, by the way. That's not a temporary thing. All right, his Limited Sun Standard pumps up. So he's playing the Warsmithing deck. He's playing their Artifact deck. And we'll see if we can outpace him here. Okay, let's attack with that. Thank you. The quest for the Gem Blades is actually very nice. I think this will come into some great effect. So this even works if I block with something. All right, and it'll deal combat damage to a creature. Then I get to put that, and then we can do all this fun stuff. Here's 2 1/1 artifacts in play. So yes, it's the metal crafting deck. He gets metal craft. He gets artifacts in play. You know the deal. You know the deal. So what will we do actually? Oh, this is a land. Pump that guy up. And then we can play the quest. Yeah, let's play the quest right now. We're gonna play the quest. So if he decides to block, we will have a counter on it. If not, he'll take some damage. And I'm just gonna keep swinging. I am swinging with the Young Wolf. Why? Because if he blocks, this guy comes back as Undying, but he's also out 1 artifact, which puts him further away from being able to trigger Metalcraft. So there's the attack. He's down to 16. Next turn, not much is gonna go on. We'll have the Earthbrawn, so we can figure out if we want to do something with that. Here's a Dispatch. It taps target creature. Since he's got Metalcraft from his 3rd artifact, that exiles the creature. So there goes our Vine Lasher. Also just played a Dolmen Gate to prevent all combat damage that will be dealt to attacking creatures you control. Well, that's freaking great. Man. Man, oh man, oh man. Throw a champion in play. Potentially make it so that he won't be able to block my creatures, but it's not that great right now. Things aren't that great right now. We need our 5th land for the doubling season, and then, you know, maybe at that point we can turn this around, but I'm thinking he's in a good place. Metalcraft, it's a 5/5. It's fine. Just a 5/5 in play. That's fine, whatever. Just a 5/5, no big deal. It's a 5/5, 5/5, come on! Aye. Alright, well, we've got the Earthbrawn, but that's only +3/+3. Pumps that guy up. Which means we could kill that if he blocks it. If he blocks that, I let it live. So I could kill his 5/5 in attacking with this. No, actually, let me just attack with my 1/1. I'll show you why. Watch this. We're gonna attack with our 1/1. Now, if he blocks, I can trigger Quest. Here we go. I'm not gonna be using my Earthbrawn. I'm gonna trigger Quest. Undying creature comes back. And I can remove these counters now to pump up my creature. So, I can pump him up right now to a 7/7. I don't need to do it right this second. I can do it at any point. So we're just gonna chill out right now. This is really, actually, this might turn things around. Now he gets damage prevented to attacking creatures, so I can't kill any of his creatures that attack. But I can still block them to prevent the damage. And, oh man, he's at 15, so this is gonna turn him into 7/7. It's a Galvanic Blast. Where's it going? 4 damage. Let's take care of this now. Put the 4/1/1 counters on, turn him into a 7/7. 4 damage happens. He's still a 7/7 though. So, let's see. Pump him up 3/3. Could also just go with this guy. Just gonna block that. You get this guy back as a 2/2. Pump him up to an 8/8. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. There's the win. Oh my lord. Wow. Oh boy. Oh boy. That makes me so very happy. So very happy indeed. All right, so end up pulling out the win. Whew, a little close there. I was getting nervous, but there's the victory. Let's take a look at the deck. All right, so for my build of the hunting season deck, again, focusing on tokens to add to creatures, token creatures, and then doubling that stuff with doubling season. So we've got the redeemed here, so 1/1, I can put a token into play. I can also tap 6 to tap it to double any tokens or copy tokens that I have in play. I've got the Scoop Mob, which it's a 1/1, gets 4 1/1 counters if I've got 5 or more lands. Run the Young Wolf, 3 of those here. Those Undying, really nice. Remember that Undying is getting 2 counters with a doubling season in play. I don't have to keep reminding you. Things are doubled that you see here. Primordial Hydra comes into play with X 1/1 counters on it. Get the Vine Lasher Kudzu, which gets pumped up +1/+1 counter every time I put a land in play. Get 3 of those. The Kavu Titan. Really, this is an amazing card. I remember when this was originally introduced to Magic, the metagame that was running this. I loved it. I think this card's awesome. So it's 2 lands for 2/2, but Kicker 3 gives it 3 1/1 counters. So it's basically, if you got 5 lands, it's a 5/5 plus Trample, and with doubling season, it becomes a 8/8 Trample for 5. The Strangleroot Geist 2/1, Haste Undying. The Drudge Beetle, it's a 2/2, then you can scavenge it to add 2 1/1 counters to a creature. Quest for the Gem Blades, you know, creature takes deals damage, gets a counter. Remove that counter, put 4 1/1 counters on target creature. You saw that nice synergy as well with that other card. Druid's Call, enchanted creature takes damage. I get that many 1/1 counters in play. The Earthbrawn, plus super 2 until end of turn, or Reinforce of 1, which is a permanent 1/1 counter. And then the winner of last game, Champion of Lambholds. 1/1, creature to the power less than Champion of Landhold can't block creatures you control. Big thing though is that whenever a creature enters the battlefield under my control, you get a 1/1 counter on it. And yeah, it worked out very, very nicely last game, 2 of those. Fangren the Firstborn, 4/2. When it attacks, put 1/1 counters on attacking creatures. The Penumbra Spider, 2/4 with reach. When it dies, you get a 2/4 with reach back into play. Thragtusk, 5/3, comes into play, again 5 life, leaves play, get a 3/3 token in play. Doubling season, 3 of those, double the fun. Very nice. Also, Essence of the Wild, this is kind of crazy. So whenever you put a token in play with Essence of the Wild in play, it becomes Essence of the Wild. So yeah, token producers become kind of hilarious at that point. And then lastly, the Hornet Queen, flying Death Touch. You get 4 1/1 green insect creatures with Death Touch in play and flying. Again, that's doubled with doubling season, which would give you 8. But the big thing is that the Death Touch allows you to deal with opponent's creatures that don't have trample and kill them instantly. Well, once they deal combat damage. So there you go, guys. Thanks so much for watching this episode of Friday Night Magic. I apologize. I know it is Monday. It was only because of that trip that I took. It was very abnormal for me to be away from the office for 5 days, I think was the total round of the trip. So this Friday, another episode will be coming up, so stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching. If you like the content, please subscribe, keep watching, and keep owning.